Hey, you guys, so let's focus on dimensions 3D, 4D, and 5D dimensions. This is something that you can use as a knowledgeable resource of information in order to better understand your paths in life or where you at this moment within life. Dimensional reality is levels as you ascend into different levels of consciousness, aka also known as raising your vibration, you will have a better understanding of life meaning and perception versus actual placement. You are now better understanding the one within. You understand your personal journey. So, for an example, let's dig into 3D state dimensional operations. Okay, when you're in the 3D state of mind, you operate from ego. It's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. You can't look down on someone in the 3D dimension because you feel you're in a 4D dimension. They're all great at their own pace in life, meaning each person has his own personal journey and timing in life. So if you know somebody that's in the 3 state, egotistic level, don't judge them. Once you get to the 5D, you understand why. But let's focus on 3D. Right. So at this state, you're operating from an ego state of mind. Connecting with others, our spiritual connections is not there yet. You believe on in a survival mode, that you believe in competing for life goals and attention. You might be the one that's still fighting for attention based off what you have and not based off what you know. You also believe in that you have no power over things that happen, that you don't believe in law and attraction. At this time, you think things happen just because it happened, that you don't believe it happened because it was a cost. When you're in a 3D state of mind, it's just a coincidence that things happen. You don't have no wisdom to manage the things that you was told. For instance, when you was in school, they told you this is this, and you believe them and you don't question it. You say, well, if my teacher told me that, why would my teacher lie? You don't have the state of mind to question what was told to you or taught to you. You don't even believe the matrix is there. You believe in just and physical realm, that's all that's there, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have some people that surrounded me that believe that's in the 3D dimension stage, meaning like if the doctor tell them that they have to get something done, they're going to go what the doctor says. It's no further research because they don't understand why would the doctor be wrong or why would the doctor tell them this information. So they haven't ascended to a higher dimension. Okay, so for those of you that have ascended past the 3D dimension, you might be facing the 4D stage, or it's called fourth dimension. This is your questioning stage. You have learned to question everything that was taught. You unlearn everything that you was taught, and you start to gain understanding and reasoning behind the things you was taught. You have the idea of good and bad. You think with your heart and not only with your mind. You start to believe in energy, vibrations, and the life powers which is believed to shift your reality because you start to awake. I call this the awake stage or your awakening, a spiritual connection, awareness around you, the environment, and you feel that everything takes place because it's connected to something. You might believe like, okay, a tree is life, where other people believe a tree is a tree. You might believe that in order for the tree to grow, the tree needs us and we need the tree. Just an example, right? And you start to question everything that was told. You start to get frustrated and mad when you hear people is telling you a lie or a lie is being told. You're like, that's not true. What are they talking about? Things like that start to bother you. You start to believe and have control over the outcome of life around you. You believe everything has a purpose. Everything is deeper than what is being told or taught. You believe that you have a control over your situation. You believe in power and law of attraction when you're in your fourth dimension. You start to believe in things and stand apart from it and stand firm in your belief. You start to understand it's okay to walk alone. It's okay to not have Jordans. It's okay to spend my money in situation that accommodates me and not appease the other people around you. You have to be careful when you ascend to the fourth dimension not to go backwards, because with social media, Sometimes social media takes us back into our third dimension because you start to compare and contrast of what others have versus what you have, and you start to seek happiness from others. But when you're in your fourth dimension, when you're trying to ascend the fourth and getting closer to your fifth dimension, you start to believe in self happiness, and that you know that a TV is a TV. I don't care if I have a TV, if I don't. If I have a TV, that's a good thing. You don't depend on that TV. If you have a place to live, you're thankful. You don't sit there and be like, I gotta have a place because I want my friends to see what kind of house I'm rocking. You start to be like, I'm just blessed, whatever I have over my head. You start to be more grateful and find happiness within the small things. Okay. So those of you that are ascending from your fourth to your fifth, when you start getting closer to the fifth dimension, your world is going to get rocked. And you're going to feel like you're losing when you're actually about to win. Everything around you start crumbling down, and you feeling like your emotions is everywhere. You might wake up unhappy and depressed because you're on an emotional roller coaster because you're ascending to your higher level. Everything is starting to look clear. The perception, you're starting to discover the stage. This is the woke stage. Okay. Awakeness is so high, it's among impossible to go back to a 3D stage. The consciousness is very understood to you, that you're very one with oneself, and you know that God is in you. You no longer like thinking it's an outer body experience with your connection with God. You feel like if I go outside, God is inside of me, so he is with me wherever I go. A lot of people, it's kind of hard to break this down. A lot of people pray to God, right? Not understanding you can talk to yourself because God hears your thoughts and your prayers. A lot of people think I have to say, dear God, this and this. And sometimes you got to talk to yourself and say, you know what, I'm going to have a good day. Because you're so connected with God, you feel like God hears you saying that, and that good day is going to happen. That's when you're on your fifth dimension. You start to do things with less judgment. You think everybody has a purpose, everybody's on the same level, but everybody is trying to get to different levels at different times of their life. You have more compassion, okay? You have more connection with the spiritual world, so you create your own reality. Like for an example, once you get that fifth dimensional stage, you can manifest things more faster and clearer. Like you can sit there and be like, look, watch Jackie call me in the morning. You know what? I haven't talked to Jackie in 2 days. So this morning she probably gonna call me. Then you wake up and Jackie actually call you. Or you start to not believe in coincidence. You believe everything have a purpose. For an example, you can go for a job interview. When you get to that job interview, you know the interviewer, and you don't believe in a coincidence. You believe it's a purpose. I was meant to get this job, so by me knowing the interviewer, I might have a better chance of getting this job. Coincidence just doesn't happen. It's a purpose. It's a season. You start to believe in purposes more than coincidence. Like if you like how you guys are going outside and you have things in sync to you with people coming in and coming out, you are ascending to a higher dimension. So that's why things are in sync with you. People are drawn to you and they don't even realize it. Have you ever went to somebody and when you got to that point of being tired and you're like, you're following me or you're harassing me, they look at you like you crazy? Because mentally you can feel this and see this, but they really don't realize what they're doing. You start to understand like, wow, these people probably really don't even know what they're doing. MK Ultra is real. But we're not in this world by ourselves. You start to see things different where once you feared the unknown, now that you know the unknown, you don't fear it anymore. Like you believe you might be seeing shadows or spirits running by. When you was in your third dimension, you try to block that out because you was like, that can't be real. That's not true. I'm not supposed to do that. You looked at that as a bad thing. Now, when you see things in the corner of your eyes, you're like, okay, that's supposed to be happening because we're not the only ones on earth. We do have spiritual beings running around here, but you start to see them more clearer now. Where back in the day, it can be like just a shadow of your eye, but now you can probably point out a figure and saying, yeah, it was about 5'5", a dark silhouette. And when you was in your third dimension, you shied away from that. So you'd be like, I knew it was just something there. I don't know. I couldn't even tell it was a figure, how tall it was. You just knew, you felt the presence of it. But now you feel the presence and see the presence of stuff in the spiritual realm when you hit your fifth dimensional stage. Okay. And then you start to look for facts. Information don't just become information no more. You start to see facts. You start to say, if someone said that the moon was 3 inches tall, this is not a fact, just me throwing it. You go out there and you be like, is that true? Let me go find out if that's true or not. When you was in your third dimensional stage, you be like, wow, the scientists said that, so we must believe it. They said that they walked on the moon, so we must believe it. But you be like, how could they walk on the moon? Because you can't walk on the moon because of that. Because now you're seeking higher knowledge and you become knowledgeable in every little thing that you do. Something small to others may be big to you. Something as simple as a measurement on the door to you might be important to somebody else. It might be like, it's just a door. What is the point of that? You know? And then at this stage, at the fifth dimensional stage, you become your own lawyer. Meaning, say you got into something, right? And you had to seek someone with a lawyer uh degree, bar, that passed the bar exam. You start telling the lawyer what to do, how to help you. But because you don't have that degree to back up and be your own lawyer to advocate for yourself, you tell this lawyer, hey, if you put in this ruling and this ruling and put this for me, I guarantee that I can get off and get this done. You start to trust in yourself. You don't trust a man anymore. You start to understand that everything around you was a lie, or you start to feel like a lot of things was a lie. So you trust yourself and your God more spiritually. So a lot of us is experiencing ascending to different levels of dimensions, which is why our world feel like it's crumbling. But you got to understand, you have an old body that's turned into a new body. It's like a construction site. You might have an old building that what happens, it has to be knocked down first in order to be rebuilt to be the new version of itself. Like if I have an old apartment complex and I want to make it a modern complex, I need to get rid of the old. I need to tear out all the old that was inside of it. And now it looks a mess, right? It look like it's not worthy of itself. But all of a sudden, I start to put the new things in it and I start to rebuild. So that's how your life is. You got to start tearing out the old and entering into the new. But don't cast no stones at anybody. When you get to the stage of emotional control, when you get to the stage of non-judgment, when you get to the stage of self-one with oneness and happiness, then you know you ascending higher to your fifth dimension. Also, in your fifth dimension, you start to look at dreams as messages. Your dreams become so clear you can wake up and recite your dream. Where before, you can go to sleep and you just knew you had a dream, but you can't remember quite what the dream was. But now when you go to sleep, when you're getting close to your fifth dimension, you wake up and you can recite everything in a dream, but the dream becomes a message to you. It's deeper than just a dream. You sit there and ponder on why did you dream that and what does the dream mean? You start to see synchronized numbers and stuff like that. A lot of people try to falsify and say synchronized numbers is the devil's work. See, that's what the world do. The world like to tell you what is negative so that you want to ascend to your higher self. It's up to you to say, is that true or not? You got to think about it. Before we had the Bible, before we had people, we had to connect to the universe and God through what? Numbers, calculations, and timing and messages. There was no, people didn't know words. People didn't know how to write a book. People didn't speak. So when they got signs from above, they had to depend on something. So they used astrology to get information. So that's why numbers is not a demonic thing. Synchronized numbers is your spiritual world trying to connect to the physical world. So I hope this helped you guys look into that and realize you are ascending. Your world is ascending and not ending. And also you might started to notice how people are drawn to you. You might go into a room and you see there's some people that don't like you and you have not done anything wrong. And you be looking at yourself or talking to yourself saying, what are they looking at? Why are they looking at me like they don't like you? Because your inner self is starting to show on your outer self and you're starting to create this environment of glow where it's like a light bulb in a dark room. You starting to be that light. You starting to know kids, animals, even animals are starting to be attracted to you because they want to feel your energy. You start to find out that energy can change a lot of things in your vibrations. You starting to believe in vibrations over everything. This is all in the fifth dimension. The reason why I'm focusing so much on that, because I feel a lot of people that's in the target community are ascending to a higher vibration. And so that's why their world feel like it's ending. They feel like the chaos and they don't understand what's going on. But understand this, once you start getting comfortable in your own skin, you start to understand. That's why these people gravitate to you. It's a spiritual connection. You may not like it, you may not want it to happen, but when you become awakened, and this is the levels in the steps that you have to go through, you might even notice that your family dog just want to sit up under your leg, or your cat just want to lay on you, and you're irritated by it because you're not used to this type of environment. You want to be like, get off of me, dog. Get away from me, cat. Or you start to feel uncomfortable because you can go to a grocery store and people just want to talk to you. And then get this, not only do they want to talk to you, they want to try to touch you. And you'd be like, why do people got to walk by and try to grab my hand, or they want to touch you? Because the ones that are seeking that energy and they know about it, they trying to take it and receive it. And they feel you have it. Have you noticed, like, you can be at work, and if you don't go to work, you feel like everybody's like hitting you up. Like, where you at? Where you at? When you coming back? And when you come back, it's like everybody's happy to see you. Like, you produce this type of energy wherever you go. So don't run from it. Don't be scared. I'm not going to keep talking about it. Let's just go over it real briefly. And I want you guys to do your own research, because when you're on your higher vibration, you know how to control your emotions, so nobody can take that away from you. And it's sad because people would try their best to knock you off that vibration, especially within society. I feel like social media was created to keep people from ascending, because that's the most place where you see greed. That will bring judgment. That will bring lower vibration, because just you can hop on social media and see something that make you sad and you automatically become sad. Where there's those of you that know how to protect yourself, and you know how, like, I'm not going to even click on this because I don't feel like getting emotional right now. So I'm just going to click on something else. I'm going to change the video, or I'm going to seek video that feeds my soul and not hinder my soul. Talk to you guys soon. I hope that helped you guys. Sorry if I'm talking super fast. I always try to get in a lot of information at a low time so that it'll be more receptive to the person watching it, because if you're like me, you do not like watching long videos. So the best thing is to cram a lot of information with less than 20 minutes. Once you hit the 20-minute mark, you start to feel like, okay, this is about to be a long video. So I hope this information helped. Remember, your life is beginning, not ending.